everybody, I'm back! But today I'm not gonna do a Disney anything. Well, I'm a big follower of Trisha Paytas. I love you, Trisha! And I saw that a couple years ago she did a Beauty and Brains tag, and even though it's a couple years old, I hope that some of you still find it relevant, at least a little bit. So there's 14 questions, and I will start. Let's see. Number 1, what is your favorite book? My favorite book? My favorite book's not gonna make me look very brainy, but it's The Wacky Book of Witches. This is it. My grandmother brought it home one day because she worked in a library when I was a kid, and honestly I just like it because of the pictures. And now I'm a witch, so precursor, who knew? Second question. What is your favorite quote? Oh, God, that's so hard. I have so many favorite quotes, but I would say, though my favorite right now is probably, what is hateful to thyself, do not do to thy neighbor. The rest is commentary. And I believe Hillel the Elder said that, which is basically the golden rule, right? Like, you treat people the way you want to be treated. And that's it. That's the only law we really need. At least I think so. Number 3, math or English? I don't love English, but I don't speak math, so I'm going to have to say English. Number 4, art or science? Well, I do like science, and it tells us a lot about the world, but I would have to say art. I actually studied art for years. My father is an artist, and I wanted to be like him, so I've been drawing basically since I could hold a pencil and painting, although I did not go to school for art. Eventually, I'm an anthropology major. And I think that's because I got a job decorating cakes, and when I started decorating cakes, I haven't really drawn a whole lot since then. I still do crafty things here and there, but also being a college student, I just don't have the time to make all the things that I want to make. I'd rather be more active instead of sit on my butt and draw stuff, because I've done that for years. But definitely art, although science is necessary. I would say that. Number 5. Name 5 artists or albums that have changed your life. Alright, well I guess I'll go with albums. Oh God, this is going to be so dated and show my age. Let's see. I suppose the first one would probably be the Titanic soundtrack. I think it was like 10 when that movie came out, and I don't even really like the movie. My best friend was obsessed with Leonardo DiCaprio, so I had to go see it for her birthday. I mean, he is a good actor, but we were 10. Anyway, so that album it was the first, I guess, set of music that wasn't really pop music or mainstream that I heard on the radio that I really, or wasn't Disney that I really fell in love with. It's kind of the same song over and over again, but just played a little differently, but I like it a lot, and I still have it, and I still listen to it. So, Titanic, I guess, the Titanic soundtrack was probably one of the first albums that I took in a spiritual manner, even at age 10, when you don't really know what spirituality means, or at least I didn't, but I think it was very subconscious how I took it very spiritually. Another album, and again, these are all really going to show my age, is probably Madonna's Ray of Light. My mom had that CD when I was a kid, and I mean, everybody knows Madonna's hits, like a Virgin, Papa Don't Preach, Hollywood, all of those, although I really liked Ray of Light and Candy Perfume Girl and Myrrh Girl. And again, I think that was part of my spiritual awakening. I don't remember exactly how old I was when that album came out. I think it was in middle school, but it just seemed very different from what Madonna had done before, and even what she does now. And I'm not saying that her music sucked, but I feel like that album was really deep, and I know that Myrrh Girl was a meditation that she wrote about her mom dying, because her mom died when she was young, I believe, and it clearly affected her, and I guess she didn't really ever say how she felt about it until much later in life. But I suppose she's moved on from it, because her music is definitely back to her happy poppy stuff. And so Ray of Light is the second album. Another one would be Untouchables, The Untouchables by Korn. That was what caused me to like Korn. That was the beginning of me dating guys in rock bands, which I'm still doing. I don't do it on purpose. happens. It just happens. And really appreciating heavy, hard rock music just as much as pop music. Specifically though, Beat It Upright. That was the song that made me a Korn fan. I think I was 14 when that came out. I had just started 9th grade. And everybody that I tell that was the song that converted me is they always kind of go, well, that's an interesting song to pick. But I don't know. I think it was. I think that with Korn and the next 2 albums that I'm gonna name were probably a sexual awakening for me. When I was 14 or 15, I started realizing where I lie on the sexuality spectrum. So I think that those albums came out when a time where I was not so afraid of sexuality anymore, and just sort of figuring out that web of that culture and how those things work. The next album is Stripped by Christina Aguilera. That's another, like, I think that one was probably more sexual and spiritual awakening. And like Ray of Light with Madonna, I think that was very different from her other albums. Although when she came out with Back to Basics, I thought that was really cool how she like gave a tribute to like Etta James and Aretha Franklin and stuff, and she has the voice for it. But I feel like Stripped was very diverse, and she was going through a lot of like a very introspective look at herself, and sort of getting in touch with all these facets of herself that maybe she hadn't explored before. And I think that a lot of her fans, myself included, were able to do that vicariously through her music. So thank you, Christina. I still think that's the best album you've put out, at least that I've heard. Although, I mean, she could sing the damn phone book and it would be great. Okay, and then the last one is In the Zone by Britney Spears. I'm a huge Britney fan. I have since I was 11, since that song Baby One More Time came out. I was in 6th grade and I was like, oh my god, what is this? This is great. And I think In the Zone, in the same vein of Stripped and Ray of Light, was again, Britney Spears, I think, there's a lot of introspection going on when I was in middle and high school for a lot of popular artists that I like. And I think although it's not, it still takes a different tone of Ray and Light and Stripped, I still think that In the Zone was spiritual and a sexual awakening for Britney Spears and myself, again, to live vicariously through her music. Especially that song, Touch of My Hand, that she wrote, I think is probably the most beautiful song she's ever written. I know she wrote it about self-pleasuring, but I prefer to interpret the lyrics in terms of my own spirituality and paganism. I'm a witch. So I think that's probably, that's a true gem by her, and I'd like to see more stuff like that from her, or hear more stuff, I guess. Okay, what was your favorite subject in school? What was your least favorite subject? Well, my favorite subject was art, because I got to paint and draw. I didn't have to have people lecture at me, although I mean, I still, like, I love to read, so it's not like I hated being in class. It just kind of bored me. I'd rather do things, and I get fidgety when I have to sit there and just listen to somebody talk at me, like Charlie Brown style, wah, 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 wah. But whatever, you cope, I guess. And my least favorite subject was math. Math is important, and we all need it, but that's what a calculator's for. So math was always my worst subject, and I didn't like it because it was always very confusing to me. I don't understand the world in numbers. I don't understand the world in black and white. I understand it in colors and shades and spectrums. That's always what made sense to me. So I guess that's why it's really hard for me to wrap my head around math. Who is your favorite celebrity with a brain? I had to think about this one. And I would say Dr. Drew. And not just because he went to Amherst College, aha! But also because well, obviously he's not famous because of, you know, who he's dating or what he's singing about. He's famous because he's a doctor, because he's, well, obviously he has experience, like, with drug addiction, which is something that I've had to deal with in my life. Not directly, but it's affected me. Not by my own choice, and I really like what he has to say about that, and psychological, like, dating issues. I've never disagreed with anything he says. I think he is brilliant, and I think that he is honest, and I think that we all could learn a lot from him. He seems to be very, very wise without having to have made so many mistakes. At least not that I know of. So keep doing what you're doing, Dr. Drew. I'll be really sad when he dies one day, because I really hope he writes books or something, because I think that he explains things in a way that everybody can understand. He doesn't throw fancy language at you, but at the same time he doesn't dumb things down and disrespect you when he says things. And what he says is very, I don't know the word. It has an impact. Number 8, if you could study anything, anywhere, what would it be and why? Okay, this is another thing I had to think about. I would study belly dance. I already do. But if I could study it anywhere in the world, I would probably study it in Israel, because my best friend lives in Israel. Although I have yet to find any Israeli forms of belly dance. So if it's not that popular, my second choice would probably be Egypt, because that's where belly dance was invented, was in Egypt. And I think that would be so cool to study under like a master who grew up in the culture with it, because my culture doesn't embrace belly dance. Look at me, I'm like white American. I mean, belly dance is seen as like something sexy girls do, and we're all sexy and we should all do it, but it's very spiritual for me as well. So I think that would be really cool to make a pilgrimage to the motherland and learn the art itself, where it originated. I think I would get a whole different perspective on it, and it would only improve me as a dancer. Number 9, what is your nerdy little secret? I don't know. I'm not really into nerdy things. Nerdy, so to speak. I won the 6th grade spelling bee. Number 10. Who is your favorite beauty guru that you admire for more than just their sense of beauty and fashion? I don't know. I guess Trisha Paytas. I don't really follow a whole lot of beauty gurus, but she's one of my favorites because she talks about more than just beauty things, although like that's definitely one of her strong points. But I really like when she talks about social issues and interpersonal relationships, like perceptions. She had this one video called Why It's Okay to Be Fat, and I thought she had a lot of really good things to say. There's definitely a tone of female empowerment, an undertone of that to a lot of her videos, and I don't even know if she realizes it herself, but it shines through, and that's what keeps me coming back to her videos. And so I'll go with Trisha Paytas. Okay, let's see. Number 11. If your channel would focus on something other than beauty and fashion, what would it be? Well, I don't even know if I would consider my channel to focus too much on beauty. I mean, I guess like I do the Disney lookalike things, and in the future I definitely want to do beauty routines and natural face washes. I'd like to do that, which I probably will, especially if there's a demand for it. But I would probably include more witchcraft. I have a blog where I write about my spirituality and a lot of pagan things, so I already have an outlet for that. But if I find a way to incorporate it on my YouTube channel, I absolutely will. I don't want to limit myself by just doing beauty, because there's a million beauty channels on YouTube. So I don't know, want to bring my own stuff to the table and be unique. So let's see. Number 12. What are some geeky obsessions that you have? I don't know. That's the thing. I mean, Disney, we all know I'm obsessed with Disney, but I don't even know if we could call that geeky. Some people think it's weird that I'm a witch, and they think it's weird that I'm into witchcraft. Like, okay, you're a witch. Sometimes that's the reaction I get, and I know that they just think that I sit around with Harry Potter clothes and wave a magic wand around and call myself a witch. And like, that's not, well, that's part of it if you want it to be, but that's not all of it. That's just on the surface. So I guess maybe witchcraft, although I do like video games. I'm not, like, I haven't really played a video game hardcore in a while. I only own one video game right now. I have 3 younger brothers, and my mom and her sister like video games, so I grew up in a very gamer frequent household. And I don't know, I guess I would think that if somebody got to know me for about 5 minutes, they would be surprised to learn that I casually play video games. I only like the little kid stuff though, like Paper Mario and Epic Mickey. I don't really like Left 4 Dead or Call of Duty. I'm not into those things. Those are boys' games, and I don't do boys' games. Thank you. Anyway, alright, let's see. Number 13. Who are 5 people that inspire you, excluding friends and family? Oh, gosh. Well, I guess that just leaves celebrities and historical figures, or possibly politicians. Whatever. People in the public eye. Well, Britney Spears, absolutely. I love her style. I love her music, her voice. I don't care if you people think she can't sing. Okay, she can, but she wasn't encouraged to sing. I've heard her actually sing, and she does sing well, but her record company doesn't want her to sing. Okay, they just want her to breathe into a microphone, and like, whatever. It works for the type of music she does, so. Anyway, I love her dancing. Oh my god, I wish I could dance like her, but, you know, I guess that's what happens when you have been in dance lessons since you were 2, when I didn't have that luxury. So definitely Britney Spears. I like her outlook on life. I think she's adorable. I think she's gorgeous. I love her clothes. I love her music, her energy, her image. It's very easy for me to get swept up in sparkly people like her. So definitely Britney Spears. She also inspires me to not be afraid to be feminine and be sexy. And just wear your sexuality right on your sleeve. Even if she's not like that anymore, she was like that at one point, and that is what I admire. I'm not a mom like her, so I'm not at the same point in her life, so I still, like, have no problem dressing very suggestively. Like my Jasmine costume, for example. Walt Disney, yes, he is a huge inspiration, obviously, in case you couldn't tell. Not only do I love what he's done with the empire that he's created, but if Walt Disney wasn't who he was on the inside, none of this would have happened. He seems like he was fiercely optimistic and was just not afraid of failing at all. And he did things that nobody else has ever done before. He created theme parks based off of his movies, and oh, I could go on forever. I've written many research papers about Walt Disney, so I know a lot about him. And my family likes to say Walt Disney is our Jesus Christ, and I like that. I like that he didn't include religion in his media, and I like that he just wanted to make the world happy and give people something happy and progressive. He was very progress heavy, and I don't think a lot of people know that about him. But like Epcot, for example, was supposed to be a town or a city, not a theme park. And that's why it's called Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow. Walt Disney was born in 1901 and he died in 1966. So you can imagine how many changes and how fast he saw the world progress at such a pace. Like, the world was a very different place in 1901 than it is even now. Like, even in 2001, so many things have changed. And he saw a lot of it. A lot of it. And I think that he saw an opportunity and rolled with it. Oh, R.I.P. Disney, we'll miss you forever. What's another one? I guess Gandhi. I like his quote where he says, "You must be the change you wish to see in the world." And that's pretty inspiring. I also like Queen Elizabeth I because she never got married and nobody ever forced her into marriage. She was able to successfully rule a country in her own right instead of who she was married to. And I also like that she said, I choose not to look into your window. I don't care how you worship. And yeah, I think she was really ahead of her time for ruling things like that. And my last inspiration is the goddess herself. The goddess, she lives in the earth, she lives in all of us. Sometimes she's a he. She's the reason why we're all here, and I feel a part of it and not separate from it, and I don't feel submissive to it. And number 14, who is your intellectual soulmate? That's also really hard. These are some really good questions. I guess it would be this guy who I only met once. We were up talking till about 3 in the morning, and we had a really, really, really good conversation. And I haven't had a conversation like that, at least not close to that, with someone since then, or even before then. That was definitely, I guess, a religious experience. Nothing, like, all we did was talk. Like, I have a boyfriend, so it's not like I'm interested in anything beyond their mind. Yeah. So I hope you like this video, and I hope you don't think it's old or outdated. Anyway, well, hopefully I'll have something even better for you guys next time.